and she's going to tell you that the reason that she wanted security with Mr. Onfroy on the day that he was shot was because of the issues that he had with Drake.
Yep, all eyes are once again on Drake after lawyers called him out in court because he was the one who allegedly put out a hit on XXXTentacion. But how true are those allegations? And did Drake respond to being directly linked to the death of XXX? So just months before X was unalived, he was already talking about how he was possibly gonna get jumped and eliminated, something that lawyers actually brought up in court.
Worst thing comes to worst, die a tragic or some shit, and I'm not able to see out my dreams. I at least want to know that the kids perceived my message and were able to make something of themselves and able to take my message and use it and turn it into something positive and to at least have a good life.
X also talked about an instance where he even becomes a sacrifice, adding,
if I'm gonna die or ever be a sacrifice, I want to make sure that my life made at least 5 million kids happy, or they found some sort of answers or resolve in my life, regardless of the negative around my name, regardless of the bad things people say to me.
And true to his word, it was not long until 4 people targeted him. What happened was that X went to Bank of America to withdraw money before heading to Riva Motorsports, which is an upscale seller of motorcycles and boats in Florida. After withdrawing money, he was followed by a dark-colored SUV with suspects Dedrick Williams, Robert Allen, Michael Boatwright, and Trayvon Newsom inside. So when X arrived at Riva Motorsports, he entered with his uncle, and security footage saw the 4 suspects following X inside the store, and they walked right past him as he was browsing motorcycles. There's actually footage of them going into Riva and buying 2 masks. Then half an hour later, after X left the dealership, the SUV with the suspects drove in front of his car, blocking him in while 2 of them exited the vehicle and attacked X. They robbed whatever they could from X, and after they were done, one of the suspects walked back 1 or 2 feet away from X's vehicle, grabbed his rifle, looked him in the eyes, and fired 6 shots. Since the suspects identified X's car the day of the shooting, the police said the attack was targeted and intentional, not random. In fact, in her first interview after X's death, his sister Ariana Onfroy also claimed that someone put a hit out on her brother, and receipts are pointing to Drizzy. Well, Drake and 5 other members, 600 Breezy, Tekashi 6ix9ine, and Migos members Quavo, Offset, and The Late Takeoff were already named as witnesses in the case. But let's explore why a lot of people are still convinced that Drake is responsible. Before that, initially there were allegations that Soldier Kid and Soldier JoJo were the 2 men at the scene of the incident when X was attacked, and there were pretty convincing receipts, including a geotag that proved they were in the area at the same time of the incident, as well as an Instagram photo of them in a car with a red mask. But later on, they were off the hook. There have also been speculation that Migos may have been involved with the incident because of the long-standing beef that existed between X and Migos. However, after a little bit more digging, it starts to look like Drake may have been the one actually responsible, also because of the beef that X had with Drake. For reference, the beef started when fans accused Drake of stealing X's flow and copying parts of his song Look at Me, and when X realized what had happened, he was understandably pissed.
You think I'm gonna let you take my shit and not say nothing? You can suck my
X actually said that initially Drake had said that he was impressed with him and promised that he would contact his manager within a few days, a promise that Drake apparently never kept. However, within the same week, Drake performed his song KMT, and it sounded alarmingly a lot like X's Look at Me, and X spilled all about it.
He's saying he go call your manager within the next few days.
Okay.
So I'm amped up. Nigga, I f with Drake. Initially, he was supposed to contact one of my managers, so he doesn't do it. That same week, bro.
Okay. Demon just got up. I get my bro in advance. Love is just not in my plan.
So he plays this. I hear da 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 my dad.
Hey, I bitch, you was your mess. Hey, can't keep my pants.
You could take his verse, like they did a mashup. They put his verse on my song.
In the same interview, X actually insulted Drake.
He's not a man. I think he's that's a bitch move. Especially when I was in jail facing life, bro. You get what I'm saying? If Drake would have came to my barn hearing, you know what I'm saying, that would have made my day. If he would have showed that he's a hospitable person and that he's really in it for the culture, rather than being taking my running off with it and then putting it on his album, then he would have got my kudos, he would have got my respect out of it.
Triple X then went on a rant on Twitter calling out Drake, but later said his account was hacked. However, in another interview, he also said that Drake could have communicated with him first before stealing his flow. He was like, but if Drake is gonna take the flow, and I don't know if he legitimately did, but if that is the situation, at least reach out. And then if you want to go with the flow, then run with the flow. But I'm going through a lot right now, so it would have been nice if before that happened for Drake to have reached out to me personally. Listen, I don't know what happened behind the scenes after that, but X also specifically said that if he gets eliminated, we should blame it on Drake. So can you really blame anyone for believing that Drake was involved? In fact, Drake fueled the speculations even further himself when he also suggested he had something to do with X's passing in his song I'm Upset with the lyrics. On his joint album with 21 Savage, Her Loss, Drake also seemingly brought up his past beef with X with a track titled On BS, where he rapped,
If he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again.
Well, the defense lawyers for the three men accused of popping X floated the possibility that Drake might have actually been behind the death. The lawyers argued that 4 months after 17 people were targeted at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, the Broward County Sheriff's Office was under pressure to solve X's case quickly without fully exploring the other suspects, including a celebrity. And you know what? A lot of people didn't need convincing that Drake was possibly involved. Like one person on Twitter who wrote, Drake was mad at X for how big he was becoming and he was getting jealous of X. Drake stole his flow and lyrics and ordered a hit to get rid of X. And another person added, X was the rapper that was gonna take over Drake's spot and he knew that and he felt threatened, so he had to take him out. Someone else also said that Drake literally snitched on himself, saying, Drake snitched on himself. Listen to a couple of his songs. If he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again. Then he said, maybe I should do a 20, maybe I should break that 20, do a 10, maybe I should break that 10, do a 5, then if it gets live, do a 5 again, equals XXX. So with that being said, word on the street is that Drake has been ordered to sit for a deposition, and that could either clear him or prove what people have been saying. You know, maybe it's also just a huge misunderstanding, cause think about it this way. The moment X said that if anything should happen to him, Drake should be blamed, anyone would have targeted him because they knew all eyes would be on Drake and not them. Regardless, I am looking forward to what Drake is gonna say, but I would like to know what you think. In your opinion, was Drake involved in the death of Triple X? Do you think he had enough motive to take him out? Let me know in the comment section below.